Hi, welcome to Naming Binary Ionic Compounds. This video is going to deal with naming only the ionic compounds that contain type 1 metals. Remember, a type 1 metal has only one type of charge. It must lose a particular number of electrons, all of its valence electrons, in order to then become an ion. And then it has only this one charge, unlike our type 2 metals, which can carry more than one charge because they can lose different numbers of electrons. So this video is going to deal with only naming our type 1 metals in our binary ionic compounds, and then the next video will deal with the type 2 metals. So as a review, remember that in groups 1 and 2 and the stair step is where those type 1 metals are. That's where they're found. So when you're looking on your periodic table, remember what you're looking for is groups 1 and 2 and then the stair step over here that we highlighted the other day in class. Okay, let's go ahead and try one. So if we start with NaCl, most of you probably already know what the name of this compound is. But let's go ahead and go through the process and find out why it's called what it's called. You have a number of questions that you need to ask yourself. The first question that you need to ask yourself when you go to name a compound, is it ionic or covalent? Because there are separate rules. So is this an ionic or a covalent compound? Well, because it has a metal in it, that makes this an ionic compound. So I know that this is ionic. That's question number 1. Question number 2 then, if it's ionic, does it have a type 1 or a type 2 metal? So we're going to look at this metal. It's sodium, and sodium is in group 1. Therefore, group 1, sodium is a type 1 metal. So question number 2, it is a type 1 metal. Now, what that means is it can only carry one type of charge. So everybody knows what that charge is. We don't have to put it in the name. All we have to do when we name a binary, meaning two elements, not two atoms, a binary ionic compound containing a type 1 metal is name the ions. So remember, this has the Na, that is the sodium ion, and then the Cl, the chloride ion. Remember, when you're naming ionic compound or ions, the metal just adds the word ion, and the nonmetal gets this IDE ending and the word ion. Well, when I name it as a compound, all I have to do is name those ions, but get rid of the word ion and then put them together. So the name of this compound then becomes sodium ion minus the word ion, chloride ion minus the word ion, and I'm left with sodium chloride, the name of that compound. Let's go ahead and do another one. AlCl3. Remember, this 3 came from balancing the charges. Aluminum is a +3 and the chloride is a -1, so I had to have 3 of them in order to balance the charges because ionic compounds have to be neutral. So question number 1, is it ionic? This is a metal, therefore this is ionic. Question number 2, is it a type 1 or a type 2 metal? Well, aluminum is in the stair step right here. So that means that this is a type 1 metal. So again, it can only carry one type of charge. So we don't have to put it in the name. All we need to do is name the parts of the compound. Well, this is the aluminum ion. So aluminum, because we're going to leave off the word ion. And then this, I have 3 of the chloride ion, but I have chloride ion. Leave off the word ion. So the name of this compound is aluminum chloride. And notice there is nothing in this name that tells that 3. Okay, that 3 is only to balance the charges. So this is naming type 1 binary ionic compounds. Go ahead and watch the next video, which is naming type 2 binary ionic compounds.